Hi everyone, today we are going to be doing a chromatography experiment. Chromatography is a technique that is used to separate and identify components within a mixture. There are two phases in the chromatography experiment, the first of which is a stationary phase, which is normally chromatography paper. Today we're going to be using coffee filters. You can also use paper towels or like newspaper paper. And the second phase is the mobile phase, which is what will be absorbed into the stationary phase. And today that's just going to be some smart water. The supplies you're gonna need for this experiment are going to be a glass cup. Make sure you're using a glass cup if you're using a alcohol-based or acetone-based solvent, because it can corrode any other materials. We're also going to be using highlighters. This is going to be the component that we are trying to identify the mixtures of. We're going to be using a blue Marvi Ukata highlighter and a green one as well. And then I'm going to use a green Bic highlighter and a blue one. These are the bright liners. So for our stationary phase, I just took a pencil. Make sure you do use a pencil to mark your starting point, because if you use ink, it could travel up the paper with whatever components you're trying to identify. I also am using a tape measure. You can use a ruler. This is just to measure how far the ink travels up the paper. I'm going to be measuring in centimeters. So first, we're going to take our cup and we're going to just pour a little bit of water. You don't need too much. I'm probably going to do about 2 capfuls. 1 and 2. Just enough to cover the bottom of the glass. About that much. And I'm going to put that off to the side, and then I'm going to pick up my stationary phase, and I'm going to begin marking on the starting point. First, I'm using the green Marvi highlighter. I'm just doing a little dot on here. Make sure you start off a little bit to the side, maybe like about 1 centimeter over, so that the ink has space to travel up the paper. Next, I'm going to do the blue Marvi highlighter, and I'm going to do that probably about 2 centimeters away from the first mark. And then I'm going to take the green Bic highlighter, again about 2 centimeters from the last mark. And then I'm going to put the blue one on here, the blue Bic highlighter. So this is about what your paper should look like. All of the dots are on the starting line, which we did in pencil, again, to make sure that it's only the ink from the highlighter traveling up the paper. So now I'm just going to take the coffee filter. I'm gonna place it in the cup and just try to get the tip in there so that it can just travel up the paper. And then I'm going to fold the coffee filter over the top of the cup so that it stays in place while the experiment is going on. So that's about what it looks like after I set everything up. And now I just wait for the ink to travel up the coffee filter. Okay, so this has been sitting for about 20 minutes. I'm going to remove the coffee filter. Make sure you do let it dry off so you can get like an accurate representation of how far the ink travels. But before you do that, take a pencil and mark how far you let the solvent travel. That is very important. Make sure you mark down how far the solvent traveled. And then you're just going to let that dry, and we will come back to that in a second. So after your paper fully dries, you're going to measure the distance traveled from the starting point to when the ink finished traveling, and then you're going to use the line of where the solvent stopped traveling to calculate your R values. So that's pretty much it for the lab part of the chromatography. Thank you for watching.